If you're looking for something to do and it happens to be the second Saturday of the month, you might want to head on over to the Sacramento Museum of Medical History. It's free and it's fascinating. For instance, this may be the only place you'll ever see an actual iron lung in working condition. The lung was used to help people breathe when their lungs had been paralyzed by polio, which, if you don't know what it is, you can thank medical science, and then go to the museum and ask a docent to explain it to you. Honestly, I'd really like to get in there and see what it's like, but it felt rude to ask, so we moved on. This building used to be the library for the local medical association, but when most information went digital, they decided to use it as a museum so people can really see how far medical advancements have come. Most, if not all, the exhibits are donated from retiring doctors looking to offload the accoutrements that collect over a decades-long career. Seems like doctors collect a lot of bedpans, and if you don't know what a bedpan is, that's another question for a docent. And let's not forget that communication with your doctor has also come a long way. Here's an example of a fax machine. Again, ask the docent. Along with all generations of cell phones. And here's a rattlesnake, but I didn't stop to read why it's here. I'm sure it's important. And bottles upon bottles of random things that would never pass the FDA today. Let's never forget about leeches. Leeches were used for hundreds of years to cure whatever. If you have a cold, put a leech on it. A stomachache, another leech. A broken arm, a leech. It was interesting to see how much or even how little some things have changed. Did you know the microscope was invented in 1590? And even 400 years later, the design has stayed relatively the same. Even prosthetics have come a long way, visually the same, since they're meant to look natural, but the materials for durability and comfort, and even the options available are far beyond what was available even 30 years ago. There's even a pretty interesting collection of medical herbs and gadgetry from other countries. Don't worry, that's not a real shrunken head. Did you know the concept of vaccines was first invented in 15th century China? And Western medicine wasn't always medicine at all. This that word, was meant to cure ailments by correcting the electricity that runs through the body. They would hook you up to this machine, and the various dials would tell the doctor which part of the body's current was screwed up, and then the machine would basically shock you until you were cured. But I wonder how many people just claim to be cured so the doctor would stop shocking them. Anyway, this was happening before laws were put in place saying that medicine and medical treatments must actually do what you say they do. Before that, anyone could put anything in a bottle and sell it to unsuspecting people. However, as much as new technology was misused and misunderstood, a lot of researchers were also using it to make real headway into medical discoveries. We know that the body does have an electrical current, and with better understanding, doctors today use electrical probes to test and diagnose neuromuscular disorders. We know that the heart uses electricity to pump blood, and that's why we have pacemakers that can help your heart do that. They started with that enormous thing that sat right under the skin so they could change the batteries every 18 months, to this tiny little thing that it'll probably last longer than it needs to. Okay, I'm going to stop lecturing on the wonders of medical science, and let's just say that the museum really helped me see how lucky we are today with medical technology and research. Look at this training mannequin. She's way too happy to be having a medical emergency. Very unrealistic. The museum had an extensive collection of doctor's bags back from the days of doctors making house calls. An entire room dedicated to nursing and nursing fashion through the ages. EKG machines. and a quick history on the Spanish flu, which I feel like we understand a lot better after 2020. And they even have the first X-ray tube ever used in Sacramento. The era of prohibition must have been a strange one for doctors. The only people allowed to drink were those that had a prescription from their doctor. This one really caught my eye, a pharmacy globe that hung in front of a pharmacy, and the color would indicate which disease was currently the most popular epidemic. If nothing else, I'm so glad this is no longer necessary, but also it's kind of cool looking and I would totally turn it into a chandelier. But anyway, the museum is extensive and covers not only the many eras of medicine in the United States, but all the various specialties within the field, including dental medicine, and even quite a bit of information about the history of Sacramento. And I can't possibly give you a tour quite like visiting it for yourself, so I'm not going to try. Suffice it to say, if you are a tiny bit interested in any of this at all, check out the Sacramento Museum of Medical History.